Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this seminar with Kiwi Tech and Botanisol Analytics. We're up to have a really great discussion about an exciting new product that they've launched. It's going to really revolutionize a lot of disease detection in our country. And once again, this is brought to you by Kiwi Tech. We are a growing ecosystem of entrepreneurs, investors, mentors, accelerators, incubators, and corporations. We help early and growth stage startups build viable products, drive traction, raise capital, and scale their businesses. My name is Doug French. I'm the events moderator and podcast host. And before we go any further, we should read a portion of our disclaimer about what you're about to see. Kiwi Tech is not acting as a broker, dealer, or investment advisor and is not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission in any such capacities. At no time does Kiwi Tech provide investment advice, endorsement, analysis, or recommendations with respect to securities, and information contained herein should be viewed for entertainment purposes only. Kiwi Tech does not verify or assure that information provided by any issuer offering its securities is accurate or complete, or that the valuation of such securities is appropriate. Investing in securities, particularly in security startups, involves substantial risk, and investors should be able to bear the loss of their entire investment. For the full disclaimer, please visit our website at successfullyfundedpodcast.com/disclaimer. Well, that's out of the way. Now, onto the main story we're about to have today. We're going to talk about Botanisol Analytics and their new machine. They make the world's first autonomous disease testing kiosks for airports, military bases, and major event venues. And in this current culture, you can understand already what kind of opportunity that a machine like that has. And you're about to meet people who've been down this road before, serial entrepreneurs, and very well-educated people who are here to talk to you about what they know about the industry, how this machine was developed, and where it can go in the next years as they talk about revenue projections and how this investment opportunity could play out. So please welcome, we have three members of the team with us today. We have Dave Talenfeld, who is the founder and CEO. We have Zach Brooks, who is the Vice President of Operations. And we have Dan Wasserman, who is the Director of Business Development. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Doug. Glad to be here.
Hey, guys. So take it away. We have a pitch deck here, and we're going to have some question and answers after this is over. So as you watch Dave pitch this particular item, if you have any questions, obviously this is a webinar, so if you put them in the chat, I'll be moderating those and bringing them to the attention of the team. And we'll see you on the other end of the pitch. So take it away, guys.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate your attention and your interest. I'm Dave Talenfeld. I'm the CEO of Botanisol Analytics. We make the world's first autonomous disease detection kiosk. It uses lasers to detect the molecular signature of disease. And we envision a future when medical testing is automated everywhere and operates at the speed of light. So I want you to imagine if you could go to your corner grocery store and be instantly screened for any disease with no doctor's appointment and no insurance necessary. That's the world we're working to build at Botanisol Analytics. The trouble with existing medical diagnostics is that they're too slow and expensive for everyday use. They're complicated, they have to be operated by experts, they take as much as a day to get a result back, and they just can't go to the real world places where real people live and provide results in real time. But we're changing that. This is version 1 of our autonomous testing kiosk. We actually have 2 versions of the product. And it's self-service, which means that anyone can approach the machine, insert their own sample, and see their results on screen in real time. It's also 97% accurate based on a most recent 100-patient clinical validation at Harvard. And I want to pause here and emphasize just how accurate that is. Because if you look at the very best tests in the world, like PCR, they're only about 98 to 99% accurate. And so while we're at near parity with the best tests in the world, unlike those tests, our test is done in only 60 seconds. We're also the world's first software updatable multi-pathogen test. That means we can detect multiple diseases at the same time with the same sample. And we can also be software updated to detect new diseases on the fly. And that means that when the next pandemic or even seasonal flu emerges, we can push out a software update to enable all our machines to detect it almost overnight. It uses a technique called surface enhanced Raman spectroscopy. And STIRS is a technique that's been proven in the past, and it's very simple in terms of how it works. We shine a laser at the human sample. It can either be a nose swab or a saliva sample. And the light that refracts off of the sample is slightly different than the light that we send. And by measuring the amount of those differences, we can actually tell what molecules are inside the sample and even how many of them there are. So I would compare it to everybody in grade school has held a prism up to the sun before and seen how the prism refracts that sunlight into all different colors. Well, it's a similar process with a spectrometer. We refract the light coming off the sample into all different colors. And each of those colors represents a molecular spectral band. So we produce this spectrum, and then we use machine learning to identify those bands within the spectrum that correspond to disease molecules. And this technology has already been proven by researchers around the world, but it's been too expensive and impractical until now. One of the reasons is that it relies on the use of special nanoparticle test cartridges. And we've developed the very first way to reliably and repeatedly produce them at low cost and mass scale. And we've patented it. We own what we believe is the only way to mass produce laser tests. And we intend to expand this patent portfolio as broadly as possible. This is a video of Zach from our staff showing just how easy it is to use. You can see it fits on a tabletop, can go in airplane overhead carry-on, and he just enters the patient name or identifier, and the machine begins scanning. Now that's version 1, and this is version 2. You can see that the kiosk on the right, this is fully functional. We have one of these. It includes a camera, a printer, and a credit card payments terminal. And that means that this machine, you can approach it, swipe your credit card, insert your sample, and receive a printout of your results with your photo and your passport number on it. This is perfect for high traffic areas like airports, sporting events, and even pharmacies. And the recurring economics on this machine are phenomenal. We charge $20 per test. 90% of that is profit, and we make money every time the test is used. You can even imagine selling this machine into channels like pharmacies. We can actually put the machine in the pharmacy for free and do a revenue share with the pharmacy. So we can imagine a future when you're able to go to the pharmacy 24/7 on your own time, pay $20, find out if you're sick and with what, take your printout over to a nurse practitioner at the pharmacy counter, get a script, fill it, and go home. So you've actually compressed the entire cycle of medical care into a stop by anytime at your own convenience and spend 15 minutes kind of a process, with or without insurance, day or night. This is the future of democratized healthcare. And you don't have to take just my word for it, because this is a technology that has been funded by the United States Air Force, both the Air Force Research Laboratory, Applied Technology and Genomics Division Biosurveillance Unit, and also the Air National Guard. It's been clinically validated at Harvard Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. And based on our most recent 100-person clinical validation, I'll show you some of the performance. It's also been developed in collaboration with biological chemists at RPI and optical scientists at the University of Arizona. This is an example of how it works. You can see that we use a machine learning algorithm to cluster patients into healthy and sick cohorts. And at Harvard, during our 100-patient validation, the machine did this with 97% accuracy and 100% sensitivity. And that means that out of 100 patients, it correctly identified every single sick person. It caught 50 out of 50 sick people. And we only got about 2 people wrong in the entire data set. Those were healthy folks that we said, you know what, maybe you should go get a PCR test just to be sure. This data is consistent with the very best tests in the world. And we just came back from a 1,500 person clinical study in Africa. And we're already seeing very similar clustering on that much larger, much more complex data set. And it's a huge opportunity because if you just look at the existing market for medical diagnostics, it's $36 billion a year. But that doesn't include any of the new places that an autonomous kiosk can go. And examples include military bases, schools, hospitals, offices, sporting events, airports, pharmacies, grocery stores, convenience stores, and many, many more. So we think that the total opportunity for this new category of thing is in the tens of billions of dollars. And as category creators, we aim to own 70% of it. We've developed a tiered go-to-market strategy that allows us to be revenue generating from day one. In fact, we've been generating revenue from the Department of Defense for the last 3 years. And it allows us to take that revenue and use it to propel us into the next larger market. So we're now entering the emerging market space in Africa. We have a $10 million purchase guarantee from the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Namibia. And this enables us to add other diseases and achieve additional regulatory approvals. So we are in revenue while simultaneously collecting the data to propel us to each new regulatory approval and entry into each larger market. And this is how we stack up against the competition. On the left, you've got a PCR machine. And this test is extremely accurate. It's marginally more accurate than our test. But it has to be operated by a skilled technician. It can't leave a laboratory. And it takes anywhere between 35 minutes and 24 hours to get a result back to a patient. So this is not a technology that's going to solve real people's needs in the places where they live. In the middle is an antigen test. And it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy to use, but it's extremely inaccurate. So a recent study by the CDC concluded that these tests are really only between 40 and 70% accurate. And that's like trusting your health to a coin toss. So contrast that with our machine on the right. In addition to the fact that we're not 70, but 97% accurate, we're also 15 times faster than this antigen test and the world's only multi-pathogen software updatable test. We have a ton of traction. This is a letter from the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Namibia guaranteeing the purchase of $10 million worth of equipment subject to a successful field test, and we're completing that field test now. This is a letter from a private equity group offering to scale our technology throughout Africa. This is a letter from the Chief Technology Scout at United States Central Command Headquarters, and he's offered us introductions to buyers in all military service branches and three-letter agencies throughout the CENTCOM area of responsibility, which is worldwide, including allied nations. And this is a letter of support from a top 20 global defense contractor, and they've offered to distribute and finance purchase orders for our technology. And that means we get paid up front and they worry about all of the remaining logistics. This is a letter from a United States Congressman, Representative Ruben Gallego of the Armed Services Committee. This is an endorsement from Harvard, and this one is from Stanford. So we've actually got one foot on each coast in the top medical proving grounds of the country. We've also received a tremendous variety of awards and recognition, and you can see some of them here, but I encourage you to go to the website and read more about them.